Hey guys, it's Jack. I wanted to let you know that we're starting a new push for subscriptions here on Human Events Daily. So make sure that when you're listening to this podcast, you hit subscribe, you download it, and you share it with 5 of your friends. Make sure they're all going and downloading as well, because we need to get the signal out as much as possible. Look, we've done so much over the past couple of years since this show started, and we're only going to do so much more. Let's get it. This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Today, President Trump takes his economic message to New York, talking taxes, wages, and the future of the American economy.
We will make America wealthy again, and we will make America great again.
Special coverage of Trump in New York starts right now on Real America's Voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily. We're here live, Real America's Voice. Human Events. Today is May 22nd, 2026, Anno Domini. News out of Washington, D.C. as another cabinet member is out of the administration. We know that Pam Bondi left, of course, as Attorney General. We know that, of course, at Department of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin has now become the new Secretary of Homeland Security, and Kristi Noem is out, and now Tulsi Gabbard announcing a leave from DNI effective on June 30th, as she announces her husband has been diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, and certainly we wish them all the best and pray for their speedy recovery, his speedy recovery, pray for their relationship. There's no question. Of course, Tulsi Gabbard, someone who had been extremely popular on the campaign trail in 2024, a key part of the Maha coalition, close ties with Bobby Kennedy, close ties with so many people in that wing of the party. And so will we hear more from her in the future? Perhaps if the health situation improves, she'll be able to come back or perhaps do something else. But of course, knowing DNI Gabbard, she has always been an independent voice. Remember, she was an independent voice as the only Democrat that would actually call out radical Islamic terrorism all the way back in 2014, 2015, and call out ISIS when Barack Obama, that's how she first crossed my radar. And I remember reading in, when Bannon ran Breitbart, they would talk about how there was this one lone congresswoman that would talk about ISIS, and it was Tulsi Gabbard. There's a congresswoman from Hawaii. What does she know about ISIS? What does she know about radical terror? And it turns out that she had been a veteran, that she had served in the Iraq War, someone who had come under fire from ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Iraq, as they were called at the time, and those affiliates. And so certainly someone who's been willing to break with her party and willing to speak as an independent voice. And as we know the story, that so many people like herself, like Elon Musk, like Bobby Kennedy, like President Trump himself, had been pushed out of what the Democrat Party had been to what the Democrat Party has now become. They're far left, they are extremely radical, and they are Bolsheviks. It's really as simple as that. They've gone full Bolshevik, and that's why you see so many people. Back in 2016, we used to call it the Bernie bro to Trump supporter pipeline, so the Bernie bro to MAGA pipeline. And this, of course, came as Tim Pool and so many others were great examples of this. I believe she has a post up. I want to read that. Let's see, okay, here it is. She says, "I'm deeply grateful for the trust President Trump placed in me and for the opportunity to lead ODNI for the last year and a half. Unfortunately, I must submit resignation effective June 30th, 2026. My husband, Abraham, has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. He faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. At this time, I must step away from public service to be by his side and fully support him through this battle. President Trump also with a post now on Truth Social saying, unfortunately, after having done a great job, Tulsi Gabbard will be leaving the administration on June 30th. Her wonderful husband, Abraham, has been recently diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, and she rightfully wants to be with him, bringing him back to good health as they currently fight a tough battle together. I have no doubt he will soon be better than ever. President Trump says Tulsi has done an incredible job, and we will miss her. Her highly respected Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Aaron Lucas, will serve as Acting Director of National Intelligence. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out is that this comes as a time where now there are 2 open cabinet seats within the White House that require Senate-confirmed positions. So you've got the Department of Justice, where although Todd Blanche has been the acting attorney general, I believe he can only do that for about 200 days and change in his current status, he would need a full confirmation by the Senate to remain in that position. And now the DNI position as well. Same with this Aaron Lucas. He will be able to remain there. I believe it's 270 days, something like that, off the top of my head, where they can stay until they need a full confirmation. So the question is, who will President Trump pick? Who will he confirm? But of course, this all comes as what we've been talking about all week, the president's frustrations with the United States Senate. Their inability to get anything done, their inability to nuke the filibuster, their inability to pass the Save America Act, and real questions about whether Senate Majority Leader John Thune should stay in his position or not. So all of this coming to a head as President Trump is heading home to New York. Rav has got you covered. We'll be right back here with more on that. Jack Posobiec, Human Events Daily.
Will stand in our way, and our golden age has just begun.
This is Human Events with Jack Posobiec.
Now it's time for everyone to understand what America First truly means. Welcome to the Second American Revolution.
All right, Jack Posobiec back live here, Human Events Daily. Real America's Voice. Folks, America hits 250 years, and we're fighting for its soul right now. Culture, economy, who gets your dollar? That's the battle. Most wireless companies don't care what you stand for. They just want your cash. Patriot Mobile is different. For more than 12 years, they've stood with Americans like us, backing the Christian conservative movement when everyone else stayed silent or worse. Now, here's the deal. You don't have to give up quality or service when you switch to Patriot Mobile. They deliver premium priority access on all 3 major U.S. networks, so you'll get the same coverage or better than you have today. Think switching is a hassle? It isn't. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team can activate you in minutes. Still paying off a device? Patriot Mobile even offers a contract buyout. This is a defining year. We're in a fight for America's soul. We must work together to save our country. Go to patriotmobile.com/POSO or call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code POSO for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/POSO or 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today. I want to go now live to David Zier, who's on the ground in Suffern, New York, where President Trump is on his way to a rally. Dave, how are you?
I'm great, Jack. On the ground here, Rockland County Community College. Crowd wrapped around the corner outside. There's thousands of people in here. 2024 Trump rally vibes. And this is a hot seat for Mike Lawler for the Republicans to keep the majority. This is a critical race for Donald Trump. And it's +1 to the Dems right now in the polling. But he did win the last 2 elections here. And he beat Sean Patrick Maloney 2 terms ago. And that was the chief fundraiser of the Democratic Party. So he may be able to do it again. restored the salt caps for New Yorkers here. They're happy about that, and the OBBB's benefiting people. We covered the Scott Besson roundtable up here a month and a half ago. But I have a good friend, Jack, with us, Jody Giglio, New York State Assemblywoman, 2nd District. How are you, Jody?
I'm great, Dave. So good to see you here.
We're here with Jack Posobiec on Human Events.
How are you?
And really quick, I just want to, we're No Budget New York. Tell us about what's going on in Albany.
New York.
And you just raced down from Albany to be here.
I did.
It's a mess.
I'm on my way home back to Long Island, but yeah, it is. And you know, we're on our 13th budget extender. It's insane.
13 extensions.
13 extensions, and we got the education bill passed. We got the public protection, which I call the hurting the public, because what they're doing is allowing more crimes to happen by the bill that we adopted late yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, and your budget's 2.5 times out of Florida, and we got 5 million less people here, right?
Oh yeah, it went from 175 billion to 268 billion in 7 years.
People here are concerned in Rockland County, electricity. Kathy Hochul pulled the plug on Indian Point nuclear power, 15% of the state's energy. There's a lot of outcry over that, right?
Oh yeah, now we're talking about 4 more nuclear plants, rehabilitating them. But, you know, energy is the #1 focus that I'm hearing from my constituents, the cost of their utility bills, how there's always a tax on the utility bills, whether it's for the MTA or wherever.
I just wanted to ask you, Donald Trump, the de facto head of the Republican Party, right?
Absolutely.
Big primary wins?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know you got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Pass the budget. And back to you, Jack. Jody Giglio, New York State Assembly.
Well, thanks so much for having us, David. Can you show us? You were saying there's a good amount of people here. We'd love to be able to get a shot of that crowd as they're. It sounds like they're chanting, cheering a little bit there.
Yeah, swing the camera around, Joe.
Where's Lakeland?
Yeah, there's a couple of thousand people inside. The program just started. They did the national anthem, the prayer. Former Governor Pataki's here. We're going to expect comments from Congressman Mike Lawler and others here, and some notables. And Trump will be around 3 o'clock, Jack.
All right, President Trump on his way. The rally began to fill up. Now, we know that President Trump is, of course, flying right now. I believe Air Force One just took off right before we came on air today. But Real America's Voice correspondent Benny Ray Harmony is actually riding on the plane right now. She sent us this video in from the White House just before she boarded Air Force One.
We're here at the White House about to depart to Air Force One to travel with President Trump today to New York. Now, the purpose of this New York trip is to go to Congressman Mike Lawler's district. This event that will be going on is in support of his primary that is happening. Now, one of the things we can really expect is economic policies. And President Trump will tout some of those large economic agendas that he has been working towards. Another thing to expect today in President Trump's remarks is talking about tax cuts, because Mike Lawler and the president have worked together a lot to help with some of these tax cuts in his district. Now, one of the things to note is that this has been a swing district in the past, and so President Trump really needs Lawler to keep his seat, and so he will continue to back him. Now, like I said, we're about to leave, so we'll be on the ground reporting live there when President Trump's remarks start. But for now, Jack, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, so that's Benny Ray Harmony. She's currently on Air Force One with the president. And, of course, if we get any gaggles with the president, hopefully she'll be able to get some of that information towards us if he is taking questions, perhaps questions about D.N.I. Gabbard, perhaps questions about this dust-up with the United States Senate. We will hear all of that. We'll get all of that from her, and we'll be able to get all of those questions in. But as it is Friday, and we are waiting for the president to arrive, we, of course, have a question of the day for you. Because one thing I'm trying to do this now on Fridays, we're trying to do something new around here at Human Events. We don't want any extra guests on Fridays. We want you to be the guest. You are the guest. And so this week's question of the day is really simple. How can we make America's 250th celebration more like the Bicentennial? So send us your emails. It's 1776 at humanevents.com, 1776 at humanevents.com. we want to get your answers in. What are the ways that we can make it out? And it's really simple. You know, people remember the 200th. People remember the bicentennial, and they say, these videos, these images have been going viral. We were talking about it all here the other day about how the 200th, the bicentennial, my parents were there, how the wagon trains came from all across the country to Valley Forge, and how it was a grassroots effort. It was grassroots led, how there was so much fire, so much patriotism that was sweeping the land, just absolutely sweeping the land. And yeah, Gerald Ford was there, and he went on to lose the presidency, lost the election later that year. He did actually win Pennsylvania, he lost Pennsylvania. He lost Pennsylvania in 1976. And so much of this was going on, but we, of course, want to get him in there. And funny enough, this is actually President Trump's visit, they're telling me, in Rockland County, New York, is actually the first time that we have seen a president visit Rockland County since Gerald Ford in 1976. So, you know, kind of part of that barnstorming. And so I want to go in, and as we wait for the president to come in there, we're going to go back to Zir here at the rally for a little bit. I'm going to get in some of your emails because we've got some in already. This one comes in from Jamie in New Jersey. She says, President Trump needs to sign the Save America Act into law in an epic ceremony celebrating our republic. Well, I'm sure he would. He just needs the Senate to pass the darn thing. He needs the Senate to pass it. All right, how can we make the 250th like the bicentennial? This one from Emmy VG says, deport 100 million illegal aliens. Protect the boomer class from Epstein class slop. One in from Daniel in Texas. The country needs to rally behind something. What about a great American scavenger hunt to make people go to the places that made this country great? It's not a bad idea. What happened here on this day in America, etc. The Great American Scavenger Hunt, and a nationwide adventure that sends people to actual places where America was built. Battlefields, factories, frontiers, neighborhoods, inventions, and moments of courage. Not bad. I kind of like that. The Great American Scavenger Hunt. This one in from Aaron. Make block parties great again. Watch the movie The Sandlot. The 4th of July is in the movie is what America is. And I couldn't agree more. In fact, we've been talking about that a lot, that Sandlot America. Where's that America? Can we get that back more? You know, have block parties are a great example of that. You know, some places are, have it the places that it's more easy to do that. But at the same time, we got to make the effort. Let's see. We've got time for one more. We got like 1 minute. All right, that one's a little long. We'll skip that one for now. This one's in from Diane. Our committee visited local organizations and encouraged them to repeat the pledge to the American flag at their meetings. This one's in from Mandy. The bicentennial celebration was not called America's 200th birthday. It sounded much more majestic by calling it the bicentennial. This one needs to have a more majestic sounding title on the promotional materials. I think Eric Metaxas was saying supercentennial. That's not bad. Supercentennial. Dennis, suggestion to make an additional impact in support of America's 250th birthday, have an event like Hands Across America in the mid-'80s. Anyone participating in the event wear something red, white, or blue. This one in from my mom. This is Lori in Pennsylvania, says, I noticed the town next to me is doing a patriotic house decorating contest for America 250. It's something easy. Each town could throw something on Facebook and think of a prize, and it'll give people a reason to decorate their houses. That's not bad. That's not a bad one. An email from, Mom, you could just text me as well. You don't have to email in, but yes, no, that's not a bad idea. Neighborhood contest, decorate your house. Hey, we're all doing it for this. It gives people something to look forward to. And yes, gives an example. Why not? Put some federal money behind it, put some state money. Why not? Great example. Stay tuned. Right back. President Trump about to land in Suffolk, New York, Rockland County, there in America's 250th anniversary. Right back.
You talk about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec back live, Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 in 3 people will face cancer. And in fact, we just heard that about D&I Gabbard's husband. Most will never see it coming. Dr. Kelly Victory at the Wellness Company did everything right. She exercised. She ate clean. She avoided processed foods. And when she went in for a routine mammogram in July 2023, she had 0 symptoms. She walked out with an aggressive cancer diagnosis that could have been fatal if it had been caught later. That's the hard truth. Even healthy people get cancer. And it points to a bigger problem. Modern medicine is mostly reactive, not preventative. What does that mean? Too many people wait for a scare before they pay attention. But every day, our bodies are under pressure. Stress, toxins, inflammation, immune strain. Over time, that wear and tear adds up quietly, slowly, until disease starts to take hold. So Dr. Victory asked a different question. What can we do every day to support the body before something goes wrong? That's what led her to SHIELD. SHIELD is a 2-part natural system designed to support immune balance, antioxidant defense, and cellular health. The systems you want working if you want to stay healthy long term. In the morning, take the high-dose nutraceutical cocoa mix. Then, with food, take the soft gels with ingredients like medicinal mushrooms, turmeric, green tea, olive leaf, berberine, and black cumin seed oil. SHIELD gives your body the support it needs to help keep cells healthy. Head to twc.health/POSO and use promo code POSO to get 10% off plus free shipping for U.S. residents. So we're still asking the question of the day, of course, being what can we America do to make the 250th the same as the bicentennial or similar to the bicentennial. We got Dean here, comes in and says, how? Start jailing and convicting treasonous politicians, communists, and fraudsters stealing the taxpayers' money, and also mass deportations. Dean, you and I are one of a mind. April comes in and says, my 13-year-old Maddie says, start raising her generation to love our country again. Well, April, it sounds like you are doing a great job raising Maddie. Julie comes in and says, the Freedom Train, I saw it in 1976 come through Lakeland, Florida. Yeah, I believe the Freedom Train is still going to be going. I think President Trump is actually bringing that back. I don't know exactly what the schedule is, but if we get it, I will certainly put that out. So let's see. This one's in from Steve. He says, I was 10 years old in 1976. For the bicentennial, our school had shirts with stars and stripes, and grade school said that the elementary name on the planet and the sleeves had stars and stripes. Fireworks shows were twice as big as that year to celebrate the big birthday of America. Everyone invited a friend and neighbor, and even people they didn't know well to join them for barbecues, and etc. I remember it was huge. I've got grandkids' 250th flags and told them my story, how old they will be when the Tricentennial comes, written on the flags as heirlooms. Believe it or not, I was telling my kids as well about the Tricentennial. I said, boys, you are going to make it. Your dad might make it, but you boys will definitely make it to the Tricentennial. And that's exactly something that I was telling my boys not too long ago, that they will make it to America's 300th. And that's something to think about, folks. Do we want our country to succeed all the way to its 300th year? Will we have a country that succeeds all the way to its 300th year? What kind of country will we be? Will we be like America at 200, or will we be something completely different? That's what this fight is all about. That's what you need to be thinking every single time. Krista comes in and says, when I was a girl, we painted fire hydrants as historical figures. That was something that people did all over the country. I saw that all over and over as I've been talking to more people about this. And a lot of places, people just kind of did it on their own. It was totally a grassroots thing. This one's in from Richard. Simple answer, but not simple to do. People in 1976 still loved America. LGBT BS wasn't even thought. Democrats, even if it were fake, showed patriotism. Students celebrated patriotically. It was a better time then. It's not the name or the marketing. It is the morality or the lack of morality of the people. I think that's a very wise statement. Nicole says, we should go back and sing songs as we did when we were children in marching band. This guy, Daniel, comes in and writes, giant Trump car and car, truck, and trains all across America. We should do those. We used to do we had the Trump, the boat rallies and the drives and the car trains, and we just haven't done it. We haven't done that in a while. And people, you were doing that in 2020, and then I think COVID kind of killed a lot of it. I want to get this one in from Stephen as well because it's longer, but it's good. How indeed to make it so in a country so political divided with time of the essence? Number one, promote the founding generation as superheroes. Number two, promote local competition for most patriotic celebrations. Americans love competition and winning. That's exactly what my mom was saying. In fact, that's a picture of my mom on her horse, as well as my grandmom on her horse. Promote and encourage display of the American flag provided free of charge by the U.S. government to local civic and veterans groups, grocery stores, churches, etc. Blanket the country in the stars and stripes. Saturate the airwaves with public service announcements promoting American exceptionalism and benevolence. We must POSO, save America for the American Tricentennial. And that's a great point, too. The Tricentennial, that's a number of people have now pointed that out. We absolutely need that. We need America. That's the way we have to think about it. It's the way President Trump thinks about it. What will America be at 300? What will America be? A lot of us will be there. Some of us won't. That's how that goes. But the point is that we create a good country while we are the stewards of it for the future that comes after us. Learning from the past, respecting what worked, and finding things that will continue to work in the future. A number of people are saying block parties. This one in from Janny Lynn says, I'm not sure if you can. The 1970s were a time of plain living. We were all suffering financially. We knew it, we accepted it, we lived it. We were Americans. It was before all this hyphenated crap. Everyone who came here to be American, not to live here and suck off the taxpayer and stay exactly what they were in their country. It was a very different time. Times were more unified. We were Americans, all of us. A lot of questions about that, the differences between national unity then and now. All right, folks, right back. Jack Posobiec, quick break, Human Events Daily.
And Jack, where's Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack, so we're back live, Human Events Daily. Congressman Mike Lawler now speaking on stage at the rally in Suffolk, New York. We'll go live to that now.
Plants and pipelines, increase domestic production of energy, including nuclear, oil, gas, and renewables, and we will bring down prices at the pump and on your utility bills. And we're going to reform our healthcare system, taking on the insurance companies, bringing down prescription drug costs, making it easier for small businesses to purchase health plans, and protecting Medicare and Medicaid for those who need it. And folks, don't let anyone lie to you. We didn't gut Medicaid and give tax cuts to billionaires. We strengthened Medicaid by disqualifying illegal immigrants and others who were scamming the system, and by requiring able-bodied adults without dependent children to work, volunteer, or go to school 20 hours a week to keep their eligibility. These reforms are common sense, and they are fair. And they also have zero negative impact on people who are disabled, elderly, a single mother, or the working poor. Don't let anybody lie to you. None of those who rely on Medicaid will see any cuts, not one penny, to their benefits. Moreover, I led the fight to preserve New York's MCO tax arrangement, securing roughly $1.2 billion in federal Medicaid funding that supports our hospitals, our nursing homes, and healthcare providers across the state. And we created a rural health fund to support our rural health care system, because I will never stop fighting for you, for us, or this district. Now, in a month from now, one of several Democrats who are all tripping over each other to pander to their increasingly radical, anti-Semitic, socialist base is going to emerge as my opponent in November. No matter who it is, though, their campaign is going to be based on a single issue. And that's how much they hate President Trump and will refuse to work with him on anything if elected. Now ask yourself, and I'm talking to people both in this room today and those who may watch or read about this event later, is that really the kind of member of Congress you want representing one of the most purple House districts in the country? Do you really want a far-left Democrat who is going to be a rubber stamp for hyper-partisanship and wholly unserious leaders like Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, Chuck Schumer, or Kathy Hochul? Let's call balls and strikes, folks. The people I mentioned don't just disagree with the president and Republicans politically. In fact, I don't think it's going too far to say that they and some in their party are exclusively driven by anger and even hatred on a level that is turning up the heat in our politics to a very dangerous level. I offer something completely different, and my record proves it. I have been consistently rated one of the most bipartisan and effective members of Congress. I'm a Republican who actively works with common sense Democrats on key issues, someone who is not afraid to challenge his own party's leaders when I believe they are wrong or acting against the interests of the Hudson Valley, and someone who understands that to get things done in Congress, in either party, you need to have a strong working relationship with the President of the United States. The fact is, I do have a strong working relationship, and in part, it's why he's here today and about to deliver remarks. And because of that relationship with the President and across the aisle, I've delivered for the Hudson Valley in a way that no member of Congress has been able to in generations. From SALT to bringing back tens of millions in community project funding for law enforcement.
All right, as you see there, listening in to Representative Mike Lawler.
Okay, well, that's Representative Mike Lawler there, who's up on stage. He's having his speech. President Trump will be arriving soon there. So Mike Lawler, I believe, we can show he's leaving stage there. And look at that shot, just incredible crowd shot of so many people there who have arrived. So many people were told that there's, I'd love if we can get, some of these shots. They're saying people are wrapped around the building there, just in a really incredible situation. Guys, do we still have, do we have David there on the ground? Is he with some supporters, I believe he was saying? All right, we're going to see if we can get David up. By the way, I'm scrolling through. I'm on the Getter chat actually today. I've kind of hanging out on the Getter chat. What's up, Getter? Yeah, that's right. I still have Getter. Still have my Getter. Right? Some people don't, but I do. Let's see. People are talking about what they're doing this weekend. Passing out American flags at a parade for the American Legion. There you go. That's 250th, right? That is from Jennifer Ellen. 0920. We've got President Trump talking about Mr. Sunshine. Trump is just starting his domestic agenda. All the pieces on the board are moving into place. Let's see. Crooked refs win the game. Yeah, that's right. Had enough says, Poso, your mom has a great idea. She typically does. She's an idea mom. She's a good idea mom. And should be seeing her later today. And She is going to be watching the kids along with Papa Poso because the way it works is that my parents, each of their birthdays are in May, which is really annoying for my wallet. So my mom is the 28th of May. My dad is the 21st of May. And so my whole life I've had these like 1 week in between birthdays of both my parents. But then I ended up having my firstborn son, and his birthday is May 14th. So, of course, now instead of the 2 weeks, back-to-back birthdays, now I have 3. So I have 3 weeks. And then Mother's Day is, of course, before that. So my wallet absolutely hates the month of May. Please buy a lot of My Pillows, promo code POSO only, never promo code Tanya. But yeah, they're both coming in, and we got them some nice stuff for their birthday, and we are seeing that, and they're going to watch the kids. We have a little date night tonight for myself and Tanya Tay, so that's going to be really nice. Someone said, "Hey Jack, I remember the Bicentennial when I was in Philly. It went all year, and that's what I'm talking about. The Bicentennial." That was from Trisha. She said that's what I'm talking about, how it used to go all year. It was like the whole year. It wasn't just one day like it is now, or like they're trying to say now, which, I'm not putting down anything that the president's doing. I'm just saying that the situation is changed. The situation is different from how it used to be back then. Let's see what's going on the Rumble chat. So let's go and Rumble. So, because we have got like multiple Rumble streams. We've got Tim Peck in here. He's going after the bots. We've got G Wi-Fi 2, the greatest Memorial Day holiday tribute is to all that gave their lives for our country so we can live in freedom. Amen to that. And by the way, just speaking of people who passed away, aside from obviously those who gave their lives in combat, I just got to say, last night that news about Kyle Busch totally threw me for a loop, totally rocked me. My dad has been taking me and myself, my brother, to NASCAR races since the mid-'90s. I think 1995 was the first time we went. I remember when Kyle Busch was getting started. I remember we used to always go to the Dover, Delaware race, the Monster Mile, right? And I remember when Kyle Busch started racing. I got to see Earnhardt race a couple of times, Bill Elliott back in those days, Sterling Marlin, and obviously Jeff Gordon when he was going. And President Trump just landed, so we'll pull that shot. But yeah, that Kyle Busch, I think he just won a race last week. Just tremendous tragedy, but also what a shock for someone 41 who's in his absolute prime to be lost like that. And I certainly hope we get more information about what happened. Prayers, of course, for his entire family, for his racing team. I just can't even imagine it. Someone who's at the absolute pinnacle of his prime to be lost like that. And God bless NASCAR. God bless all NASCAR fans. Poso is extremely pro NASCAR. Right back, Human Events Daily.
We're going to call this the Jack Posobiec Appreciation Hour. I can say confidently, I think Josh Shapiro would be the vice presidential nominee if it wasn't for Jack Posobiec. And that is, I'll be honest.
All right, folks, Jack Posobiec back live, Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. President Trump taking off there in Marine One. So Air Force One has landed nearby. That we have Marine One, of course. That's going to be transporting him the rest of the way. And we were told, by the way, and I just want to put this out, that President Trump was originally, so this is only about an hour away or a couple of minutes away by helicopter from Bedminster. And I think the original plan was that he was going to go to Bedminster after the rally today. But instead, we're now being told, and not just being told, we saw his Truth Social saying that he plans to go back to the White House. And of course, Don Jr. has a wedding. It's either tonight or tomorrow. That's down at Mar-a-Lago. But President Trump, no Bedminster, no wedding, will be headed, as we're told, heading back to the White House. And I believe he cited, I like the way he phrased it. He said, Circumstances pertaining to government and my love for the United States of America do not allow me to do so. I feel it is important for me to remain in Washington, D.C. at the White House during this important period of time. Congratulations to Don and Bettina. And, of course, we certainly wish Don and Bettina well. We know that their families has always been through so much, and it's just great. It's just great to celebrate something that's going on very well with something in the world. You got to celebrate W's. You just have to celebrate W's. All right, I promised the Rumble chat that I would get in, so here we go. Let's check this out. We've got ADV Dreamer 62. Hey, Jack, I'm from West Cape May, and we had Bicentennial all year. That's in New Jersey. We had Bicentennial all year. In fact, we made colonial outfits for many events, including in school. It was a big, big deal. Let's go. I'm scrolling through. I'm in the Rumble chat. That's right. Poso is here. Poso is here in the Rumble chat. We are here in the Rumble chat. People talking about the 5,000 troops to Poland. That's right, President Trump. So we're winding down troops in Germany, 5,000 to Poland. So a direct push to the heart of the EU. President Trump, why don't you deploy Poso to Poland? Oh gosh, oh no, not Poland. That would be terrible. That would be the worst. Oh no, what a hardship to have to go to an incredible country with like the best food and the best people in the world. Let's see, outside of America. Yeah, I'm in the chat, guys. So they're saying Polak jokes engage. Do your worst. But I'm just saying, if you want to throw some Polak jokes at me, Rumble chat, then keep in mind that I'm going to be firing back. So, for the Italians, for the Brits, for anybody else who wants to play, like if you're going to give, you got to take, right? I'm just saying, fair is fair, right? Irish, you're going to give, you got to take, because I know them all. But yeah, we were asking earlier as well about, and you can ask me anything, but at the same time, we're doing today's question of the day has been, what would you do to make the 250th like more like the bicentennial? Let's see. The 13K Wood says, really, it's up to each city and state, but I'm very proud that Donald J. Trump is doing what he can for our capital. I travel there a lot, and it really was going downhill. Yeah, that's a great point. That's just a great point. I mean, the state of Washington, D.C., obviously the crime under Biden was completely insane, but even just the monuments, even just the basic, the basic upkeep of the place, it had been getting run down. It had been getting kind of ratty. Even the Kennedy Center had been, and it's just true. We've gone there since President Trump's takeover, and it had just been getting, a little bit untaken care of. It was neglected. It was neglected is the best way to put it. And he's coming in and he's putting it all back together. You got to be an equal opportunity offender. Yeah, that's right. We're all equal opportunity offenders. Let's see what's going on back in the hopping back at the Getter chat. Okay, Dark Cloud, who says he's an American supremacist. We love those. He says, I want to suggest these family movies, Radio Flyer and Dennis the Menace. Well, of course, Dennis the Menace, amazing. Radio Flyer, too. We've been working through Bad News Bears with my kids. So we just did number 1, where they lose. Then number 2, where William Devane is the coach, which is absolutely hilarious. And then they win in Texas in the Houston Astrodome. And then they go to play the champions of Japan in number 3. So we're going to number 3. And the kids love them. They absolutely love them because the kids are in Little League right now. And we're just loving baseball. Let's see. Someone says KSWX says by 2026, we will be controlled by China and there will be no celebrations. Incorrect. Absolutely not. Is that a Wu Mao? Do we have someone in the Wu Mao, CCP Wu Mao army that's going in? No, little Wu Mao. No. The United States of America will remain sovereign. That's what this is all about. That's what this fight is all about. Mr. Sunshine says, did we trade Taiwan for Cuba? Two hemispheres, only one guy could have made that deal. I don't know about that. I don't think we traded Taiwan. No way. Oh my gosh, I can't say that on air. guys, there's certain things, I've got like all these laws and rules and standards that I have to abide by. So, you gotta, we can't be going all in on this. Can't be going all in on everything. I can read it, but I can't say all of it. Mr. Sunshine now says that that Japan is under protection. Cat Turd Fan 0206, no Springsteen or any other wokesters. 100% on that. 100%. Get the Beach Boys back. Jennifer Ellen, love that Jack is here. I love that you're here, Jennifer. Let's see, who else? Jumping back to Rumble. Let's see. They're booking people. They're trying to book people. Producer Fives, they're trying to book people from the Rumble chat. They're trying to get it, trying to do bookings from the show. So we'll see. I'm looking at some of these Polish jokes. Guys, these are kind of like, they're so old, they're so lame. Like, guys, you can do better. You can absolutely do better. Yeah, the screen door on the submarine, haha. How do you get a Polish guy out of a tree? Like it's just it's the oldest ones that I've heard. It's really the oldest ones. And you don't want me throwing out my Italian Irish jokes. You're not going to like it. I'm telling you right now, you are not going to enjoy when I start going in on that. By the way, how do you get two Italian people to start arguing? Ask them which one's mother makes the best lasagna. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's grandmother. All right, what else do we have here? Any more emails coming in? Wow, this is a long one. I'll get to that later. Guy said his father was a tanker in the Korean War, and says, I hope to meet you one day. So I hope to meet you too, man. Someone says they remember the Freedom Train stopping in Northwest Ohio. Just incredible news, incredible information about this. Folks, President Trump, of course, will be speaking soon. Terrence will be here holding down on us, and we've got him here actually live. We'll do a quick handoff. Terrence, what's up, man?
Jack, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you on this Friday.
So Terrence, let me ask you the question. What would you do to make the 250th more like the bicentennial?
I think the president really kind of has the plan already. Like, I'm big on parades and anything that kind of brings communities together. I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of military demonstration. There had been talk about that. Obviously, there's a pretty significant cost attached to that sort of thing. But I wouldn't mind seeing a kind of more of the military pageantry, particularly for 250. Those are the sorts of things I'd like to see. And most importantly, I'd like to also see an element of community service, I think, put in to the celebration in general, where businesses give employees some time off to go into their communities and to serve those communities. Those are some of the things that I wouldn't mind seeing. In fact, I'll probably be doing some community service myself to celebrate the 250th anniversary of this country. We've got a lot going on for you today, though, folks. We, of course, are going to take you to just north of New York City, Rockland County, Rockland Community College, where President Trump expected to speak here in short order. Let's get you ready for America's Voice Live, which is about to start right now.
All right, I think they're rolling us over. I think we're rolling through the break, man. Is that what we're doing, guys? We're rolling through the break. All right, we're rolling through the break. I guess we're rolling. No, that's fine. That's fine. We're rolling. So yeah, we know that. And who else is rolling is President Trump. He's in his helicopter. He's on the way there. I love what you said about the military, man. I love what you said about that, because look, it was a hot day when we did the Army parade. Last year, but it was awesome. It was so cool. The tanks. I got to tell you though, even cooler than the tanks. And I know there's going to be the Memorial Day parade, and Real America's Voice is going to be covering that, as well as the concert on Saturday night. But when they did the soldiers with the period uniforms, so you had the doughboys of World War I, you had the Band of Brothers of World War II. That sparked an emotion that I was not expecting. I really wasn't expecting that. Union soldiers from the Civil War. You even had the Minutemen, the Patriots from the Revolutionary War. They had a guy who was sort of done up as George Washington, the tricorner hat. I love stuff like that, man. I totally do.
I'm with you on that, and it's part of our history, right? It's a way to honor all of those who have fought for our freedoms. You know, our freedoms, the fight started back during the Revolutionary War. It's not like this is a Johnny-come-lately thing. And so I love that we honor all of those soldiers. And plus, I think it's just so cool to see our military and to honor them, to be able to cheer them on in real, you know, kind of in real life and right there on the spot. I just love those sorts of things, and it brings our community together. I think, you know, anytime you see, you know, all those soldiers kind of marching down, and when you see some of the military equipment, particularly as a kid, you know, I'm a military brat, so I enjoy seeing those kinds of things, and it's nostalgic for me, Jack.
No, 100%, man. Well, hey, let me hand it off to you. I know the president is going to be there soon, folks. With Terrence Bates, you are in good hands.
Jack, good to see you, my friend. America's Voice Live starts right now.